That's the sound of Call Me Spinster, three sisters from Chattanooga, Tennessee, who have just released a new album titled Potholes. The sisters make the music, but there are other family members who chip in and help with the videos. Here are Amelia, Rachel, and Rosie to explain.
Well, the song itself was a collaboration with my husband. We have several of those on the record, so he's kind of the fourth songwriter. We all write, and usually, a song will start out with one of us, and sometimes it's fairly materialized, but other times, it'll just be like a chorus or something like that, and we'll all jump in and collaborate. But this one, and he, I should say, is not a musician by most standards. I would say he doesn't play an instrument. He doesn't. I mean, he sings in the car and in the bathroom, but that's pretty much it. And the tune is sometimes discernible. But he's been writing these songs for years when he drives predominantly, and so once we started writing songs. I started really listening to them in earnest, and I was like, he's a damn good songwriter, and we should really play with some of these. And but I remember White Lines he started singing in the bathtub when we were waiting for our first kid to be born.
Okay.
And so I think it was in that sort of anxious period of like, oh my gosh, everything's gonna split wide open, and here it comes. But like, hopefully we'll be able to circle back and find each other, through the chaos and deluge that we know is coming. And so we just kind of developed it together. I mean, I think the melody was actually fairly formed. It's not always with his songs, but so we just kind of started playing around with instrumentation and kind of shaping more of the melodic harmonic structure. And but anyway, that was an early song. A lot of the songs that are on this record we've played for a while. And when we released our first EP, we just kind of grabbed a few songs that seemed like kind of a smorgasbord of different sort of tones and styles. But some of these songs on Potholes had existed even longer than those. So Feet Are Dirty is one of them. White Lines is pretty old. So yeah, we've been playing it, busking out with an accordion and what have you for a while.
Yeah.
So
cool.
we.
Now I realize before we get further into this, I haven't let you introduce yourselves. Obviously, I believe you're Amelia. The other two are Rachel and Rosie. Which one's which?
I'm Rachel.
Okay. Hi, guys. I get the formalities out of the way.
Birth order to make it easier.
Oh, okay. And have you guys, have the three of you always gotten along so well, or what was it like growing up?
Our mom is in the other room snorting right now. We definitely had some full out brawls.
I think there's still like a hole in the wall, like patch from when they got in it so bad that like chairs got involved.
Oh man!
Right.
Down the stairs, yeah.
It probably had to do with clothes, which is even more embarrassing.
We had all three of our little twin beds in one room, and then we piled all of our stuff in the other room, and so we'd get into brawls about both the stuff, and Rachel would always sleep through her alarms and wake up every person in the house, and we'd be like batting her with pillows. And but yeah, we'd get into it. I remember one of my mom's, I think, proudest parenting moments was we were fighting like on the ground, rolling around, like far too late to be doing that. It wasn't cute enough. And she just showed up in the doorway with a big pitcher of water and just dumped it. And we sat, and it worked. It was great. It was very
Yep, that'll do. Oh, just hose you down. Man.
That's enough,
So when did this album start to become a record? When did Potholes start to form?
we started recording it in 2019. Is that right? Or no. Sorry, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And is that 2021?
Mm-hmm.
And we really knocked it out fairly fast. We had like a little pre-pro session with the producer that we've worked with for both projects now.
That's Drew?
Drew, yep. So he's in Athens, Georgia, and
Right.
has been recording in the same studio called Chase Park Transduction that's done just all kinds of, southern rock and punk, and it's kind of a mainstay of that Athens scene, and it's just
Right.
a cool place. But he started as an intern when he was 16, and really he went off to school for recording engineering, and then just came right back. So anyway, he really knows the joint well, so it's fun to work with him there.
Right.
And so we recorded a lot of the tracks live, sort of bass tracks live with Rosie on bass, a drummer from here, and then some folks in really Alfredo on guitar, which is Rachel's husband.
Right. Yep.
So he plays in the band almost all of the time, and then a guy named Jojo Glidewell on keys, and he plays in a bunch of bands, notably of Montreal is probably the one he toured.
Oh yeah, yep.
So he's quite the pro, and he and I worked together. I started taking lessons from him over Zoom, and we would use our songs as kind of case studies for like learning theory and stuff, because I am not very musically literate, and I'm sort of picking this up in adulthood in my 30s, and so trying to sort of become literate as fast as I can. So he'd be like, okay, well, this is in Mixolydian, and if you want some different chord changes, like here's some, so a lot of times I would just watch videos of him jamming, and I would try to kind of like use that to open up different ways of playing. Anyway, so it was cool. He could pop right into the studio and
already knew the
songs.
Right.
We kind of like worked some stuff out already. So
yeah, and that just coming up with what songs to play was a whole process too, because we started probably
60.
I started, and then we demoed.
16.
We demoed ourselves even more, and then Drew demoed with us a bunch of. So we've just been cutting songs, and then
right.
What fits and what feels good and fits together, and we came up with this album that really ended up kind of embodying, the last 7 years of our lives pretty well.
Yep. So when you're deciding what's on, obviously, I'm guessing you have to kind of keep in mind that you want everybody's songs well represented and all that kind of thing, but you also want the songs to be the best album it can be. So that can be a problem. And when you're putting the track list together of the 11 tracks, how do you go about that? Is there fighting? Is there hair pulling?
Drew actually helps us not have to pull hair so much, which is
it helps to have an external enemy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Honestly, it's one of the reasons I think we started this band, is because when we have this kind of common purpose, we realized we started playing covers for like family weddings and stuff like that, and we were like, oh my gosh, we don't fight when we have this thing to do with each other that's so fun and so like kind of outside of ourselves. And so we behave fairly well. I feel like recording can kind of be a little stressful sometimes, or I don't know, but I feel like it was we had a pretty general consensus about what we
track
wanted.
Track order felt right. That seemed like there was really only one right way. It felt like
oh, that's good. Well, that's easy.
One other option that we played with, but
making it fit on two sides of a record was how we really shoved it in. But I mean, the genre, I feel like the feels and the genre of the songs are so different that we had to kind of space out, our folkies and our poppies and our, more psychedelic stuff. I don't know.
Right.
Actually,
Yeah.
we're playing our first show on next Friday of just the album.
Cool.
So we're playing an in-store at the local record store. And so this is going to be our first time playing it through as it is. And it'll be interesting to see how that feels with a live audience. Because it's a standing room. I mean, it's a record store. It's not like a listening room. So
Yep. So everybody's going to be squeezed in and around. Is the five of you playing?
we're actually there will be 5. We actually have a friend. He's our neighbor that is an awesome keyboard. He's an awesome multi-instrumentalist, but he will be on the Nord.
So we'll have 2 keyboards, and we're playing with this great band out of Athens, and they're gonna hop up for a song too. So at one point there's gonna be 15 people on the street.
Everybody play. Now I see that one of the songs, I'm guessing it's side one of track 2. Is Stand By side one of track 2? Is that how you flipped it around? Yep. So that was that written in Spain by Rachel?
Yes. Yeah, you did your homework. I was taking high schoolers on a study abroad, and I was keeping my poor roommate up while I was recording harmony parts over and over again on my iPad to my phone and my phone to my iPad, and sent it to my sisters. And really, when I got back, there was a song. I really just showed up and we were ready to rock. So
yeah, we had some back and forth. That was fun. But maybe just felt still like we were in a band, even though she was gone for
a long time.
Yeah,
like a month and a half. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had
So it's kind of cool that you can still feel like you're in the band with the technology that there is when you're halfway across the planet. So
tapes action. Yeah.
And it's followed by No Yield Sign, which I think is Rosie's song, is it?
Yeah, that is.
Yep. And that's got some nice flutes and whistles and things. Tell me how that came together.
Oh my God, hit harder than a lightning rod. Oh my Lord, I think I'm gonna kiss that joy boy. I miss each mistake, more perfect than the life you made. Winks a little motion, emotion as freckles touch my hair.
So I like to drop in a flute shout out every once in a while. We did band before. We joined choir where our mom was a choir teacher at our high school. So we still have a flute lying around that I like to pick up every once in a while. But this song was definitely a love song about my husband, and we kind of almost turned a little bit demented sounding because I think our relationship has always been very dreamy, but we really played into kind of the really kid-like kind of, we call it our demented Sesame Street song. And I don't know, I really enjoyed that. It's makes a little different splash on the album.
And you got a trumpet player and a pedal steel player on the record too, so a lot of different sounds and textures and all that stuff. It was Drew kind of helpful in figuring out where those things should go. What did he bring to the table like that?
I think for most of them we had trumpet parts kind of in our head, right, going into it, and we wrote them out like we wrote out parts kind of roughly that we ended up checking, but we had sort of a general sense of where we wanted that, and I ended up calling a guy I went to college with that I hadn't talked to in over a decade, and he recorded it at his house in Cleveland, Ohio. So that was cool. So that was done as an overdub, and then Pistol is like an Athens mainstay. He has toured with a ton of people, but Faye Webster, he's been in her band for a good amount of time, and but we worked with him. We brought him in for the EP, and that was definitely a Drew connection. He had this idea of wanting to send pedal steel through this a bunch of delay pedals and kind of really spook it out, and for a song called Long Hard Day. So we brought him in, and once we heard the sort of sonic spectrum that could happen from him, we were like, okay, you're gonna stay till 3 a.m. We're gonna buy you some cheap beer, and we'll just put pedal steel on everything. So we were like writing parts and in the studio, and so we really got hooked on his sound. But Drew had more. I think Pistol just kind of went with the songs that we sent him. We really didn't script very much at all for him. He just he's just this very like tasteful, sort of intuitive player. And also, yeah, we didn't do that live with him. That was an overdub that he did at home. So
Right. Cool.
One
So
thing.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you asked what Drew kind of. I mean, Drew brought a lot, and one thing that this was kind of reminding me that he really helped us with is both. He can hear when it's time to add more layers and when it's time to slow things down. So with us starting with like our busking with the hodgepodge instruments that we had. Are always trying to like fill out as much as possible, and I think it was good to have an outside ear and perspective. Everybody definitely contributed to that, but just to have one more voice kind of say, no, this doesn't need anything else. Like we can stop here.
Nice. So the title track is the final track on the album, and it feels like a closer. And I think that's one that Amelia, you're playing the piano, is it?
I looked up and saw you waving. You were giving blood for some hurricane. I remember when you dropped your hoodie. We were running red lights to escape the day.
Yeah, and well, actually, it's a piano duet. It's kind of I don't know if it's easy to hear, but I came in with sort of a scratch, demo piano part. I'm not a very strong piano player, so it was pretty sparse, and brought in and was like, okay, JoJo, do something cooler than that. And he kept kind of messing around with stuff, and he's like, I kind of like it just simple and sparse, and maybe I'll do like a couple little noodles here and there. So we just like did a little piano duet and left it at that, and kind of liked the sort of demo feel of it, and even left in like he was like rocking on the old squeaky bench, and we kind of left that in, and a lot of the songs we're recording on like fun old mics that have a lot of character, and we're using a lot of compression, I don't know, like really messing around. And I think this one we liked the idea too of it being a little bit more bare and not much reverb, and just like kind of vulnerable. And so yeah, it was sort of maybe an unusual choice for a title track, but it felt sort of thematically fitting that like a lot of the songs are about this feeling of being stuck and in various types of moments, and that it felt important for there to be a song that was about moving forward and
Right.
being unstuck, and so that felt, um, but sort of paying proper homage to the moment, also, you know, that you're
Right.
sort of saying goodbye to. So I think that's
Okay. So you got the gig coming up in the record store in a week or so. Are you going on tour? Can you go on the road, or you must have like a giant bus with everybody in the family, so, right?
One
We
day.
just bought a minivan,
Oh, great.
and we're gonna pack up everybody in that, and we're doing lots of weekend shows leading up to it. So we're hitting up Athens and Atlanta this weekend. We're going to be in Birmingham and Oxford, Mississippi, and then we're actually going up north to where we're from and bringing the kids, dropping them off at the grandparents' house, playing a couple shows in St. Paul and Minneapolis, which is our
Right.
sort of roots, and then hitting the road to Wisconsin, where Rosie and I went to school. So we're playing some shows. Our Minnesota shows are with a friend of ours from high school who's in a bunch of great projects, but one of them is a band called Little Fevers. And she also has a solo project named Lucy Michelle. And then our Wisconsin tour was set up by a friend of ours from college named Julia Blair, who's also in a bunch of projects. So it's a fun mix of women headlining, women-fronted bands, and just going to our old stomping ground. So it's going to be a pretty emotional tour. Realizing as I'm emailing my old bosses and the librarian from my school and all these people I haven't seen in.
There's a Facebook I just saw of our elementary school, and there's some old teachers from elementary school that are going to come out to one of the shows in St. Paul.
There you go.
Yeah, so that'll be really fun, because we really haven't played much there. We've done a few kind of Christmas time shows and lugged all of our stuff up early on, but we haven't done that for probably the past 4 or 5 years. And so yeah, that'll be fun. But and then we'll take
sounds like more grist for the video mill as well. I can imagine.
There you go.
Generate some more footage.
It's true. Yeah, Dan will be along. You can give him a old dad camcorder.
There you go. Very good.
Not having kids.
All righty. Well, I'll let you guys go. You probably got kids to take care of. And
they're in bed.
Right.
That's the 9 p.m. for us.
I'm in grandson mode now. I've got a 1.5-year-old grandson. He comes around and tears everything to pieces. It's fantastic.
Maybe he'll have an accent. Fingers crossed.